One morning, Toby the tram engine was feeling glum. The other engines looked busier than ever, but poor Toby hadn't taken any passengers with Henrietta for weeks, only shunting trucks out in the yard. Just then, Gordon puffed in to take on water.
"Oh, hello, Gordon. Are you pulling the express today?"
said Toby.
"Who else but me?"
puffed Gordon.
"You're lucky to always have passengers,"
remarked Toby.
"You know, Henrietta and I haven't gone this long without passengers since... well, not since my old tramway closed down."
Then Toby remembered.
It was back in the good old days. We had our own line, hauled freight, and Henrietta was always bustling with passengers. They'd visit us on holidays and they always remembered our names. But then they stopped coming back, my line was closed, and the good old days were over. "Oh, it would be nice to have my own tramway again,"
sighed Toby.
"Like having my own branch line."
"Pah!" snorted Gordon.
"Branch lines are just useless extensions to the important main line. That's all the fat controller cares about."
And he puffed rudely away. Just then, Thomas puffed in with some trucks. He saw Toby, looking dismayed. "What's the matter?" asked Thomas.
"Oh, just miss being really useful,"
replied Toby.
"If I could just have some work to do."
Thomas smiled. "Well, you can take that train of building supplies to Percy for me," said Thomas. "They're needed up at the worksite of the new main line extension. Then I'll be able to collect the fat controller early, and you'll have some work to do." Toby was excited, though the extension was news to him.
"Come on, Toby," said his driver. "We'll take Thomas's branch line to give you a nice long run."
Toby was now beaming with joy. He reversed on to the train of supplies and set off for the worksite. But as he puffed down the line, he couldn't stop thinking about what Gordon had said.
"The fat controller really does only care about the main line,"
he thought to himself. Meanwhile, Percy was fuming. "Where's Thomas? I'm exhausted," he complained.
"He'll be here soon,"
said his driver. "But we must remind him not to spoil the surprise." Percy was puzzled. "What surprise?" Before his driver could answer, Toby arrived.
"Here are the building supplies, Percy,"
he panted. "Toby, what are you doing here?" he snapped.
"I'm sorry. Thomas said I could deliver these supplies for him. Is there anything else I could do to help?"
Percy eyed a long line of trucks, full of scrap and tree branches. "You could take those trucks back to the yards for me," he replied. The train looked quite heavy for Toby, but he agreed. He rolled on to a special junction, called a Y, to change directions. He then buffered up to the heavy train and sought his way. Soon Toby was pushing the heavy train of trucks up a big hill. He made a tremendous effort, but just as he reached the top of the hill, the weight of the trucks became too much for him. His driver shut off steam and applied the brakes. But it was too late. There was worse to come. As Toby thundered towards the worksite, he saw Percy dead ahead on his tracks.
"Look out, Percy!"
cried Toby. Toby rocketed past Percy and into some bushes. He shut his eyes and braked with all his might. At last he came to a screeching halt at an old station with an old shed. When Toby opened his eyes, he couldn't believe where he was. Percy frantically pulled up behind him. "Are you all right, Toby?" he gasped. Toby was bubbling with excitement.
"Percy, this is my old tramway! And look, there's my old shed! I never thought I'd see it again!"
Just then Thomas arrived with the work group, and the fat controller. He spoke sternly to Toby.
"You should know your own strength by now, Toby," he boomed. "I'm sorry, sir, but I only wanted to help." "I'm aware of that. I'm just glad to see you're safe. But it's a shame you spoiled your surprise."
Toby was confused.
"My surprise, sir?"
The fat controller laughed.
"Yes, Toby, our new extension is in fact a restoration. We are restoring and connecting your tramway with the main line and Thomas's branch line."
Toby grinned from buffer to buffer. He almost couldn't believe it.
"Oh, sir!"
"Thank you, sir," he cheered happily. When the restoration was complete, Toby and Henrietta took a special charter of friends, old and new, down the line for the opening run. For Toby, it seemed the good old days were here to stay.